Hello everyone, and this build is going to be for my Pierce Shot heavy bowgun build. Everything here except for the Rachna Kadaki Mail and Rachna Kadaki Coil, which is the waist, you get really early on, and I guess the Royal Orders bowgun is pretty mid to late game of a equipment piece. So the Royal Orders bowgun I go for just because it's a little bit versatile in what it can do. It can do pierce, it can do normal, it can do shrapnel, has cluster bombs, has pretty much all of the elemental piercing ammo. So if you want to do an elemental heavy bowgun build, you can go for that as well. For the helmet, we have the Rhenophilos Helm X, which you get from the little Triceratops looking monsters in the Wildspire Waste, which gives us Pierce Up +2 and stun resistance, and I believe muck resistance as well. Yeah, it looks to be that way. And then for the chest piece, we have the Rachna Kadaki Mail. This is mostly for the reload speed and the spare shot. The spread up isn't necessary in this build, it's more of like a byproduct, but you could also do this is also good if you want to use shrapnel ammo, because spread up increases the damage for that as well. And then we have the Hbg Gauntlets X. This is from the little Jaggies. So again, you can get this pretty easily. This is for the attack boost 3. This is just to increase our base damage a little bit more. And then for the waist, we have the Rachna Kadaki Coil X. Again, this is for the spare shot and the tune-up. The spread shot isn't something we're actively going for, like in the mail, but if you want to use a shrapnel build with this bowgun, you can certainly do that. And then for the legs, we have the Ingot Greaves X. This is for the attack boost +2 and the critical eye +2. And then for the Pedalace, we have the Underworld Pedalace again, which is what I usually run just because I like the extra HP and stamina. And then for the Talisman, I have the Polar Night Talisman that gives me +3 into Wirebug Whisper. For the decorations, in the Royal Orders bowgun, I have a Tenderizer Jewel. This just increases affinity when we hit weak spots, which, as I've said before, if you are using a ranged weapon, you are heavily incentivized to hit those. For the Rampage Jewel, I have a Chameleos Soul, and because we are using a Pierce heavy bowgun set, every tick of the piercing shot counts towards Chameleos Soul, so hopefully you'll be proccing that quite consistently. In the Rhenophilos Helm X, I have another thing of Tenderizer, which just incentivizes us even more to hit weak spots. In the Rachna Kadaki Mail X, I have another point into Tenderizer just to max it out, which gives us +50% affinity when we hit a weak spot. And then I have an Absorber Jewel, which just lowers the recoil on shooting the higher tier ammunition, like the level 3 Pierce shots. For the Hbg Gauntlets X, I have another piece of Absorber and another thing of Defense Plus. We don't get as much defense. Actually, we get just as much defense on this one as we do in the heavy bowgun build, or the spread heavy bowgun build, and it's a little bit more important with this one because we don't actively have a shield to block. For the Rachna Kadaki Coil X, I have 2 things of Expert, maxing it, or getting it to 4, not maxing it out, excuse me. So we just get to crit a little bit more often, especially when we hit those weak spots. And then for the Ingot Greaves X, I have 2 things of defense. I like having a little bit of extra defense, especially on ranged weapons, specifically the heavy bowgun, because you're a lot slower than the other ranged weapons, and you have reduced resistance to physical hits. And then for the Polar Night Talisman, as you can see, I have 2 points into ice resistance. That is because the last time I used this weapon, I used it for, I believe, a Lunatic Garen, which isn't the best monster to use a Pierce bowgun against because of how small it is, but it's pretty lengthy, so if you get a good shot off, it still does a lot of damage. These two jewels can be swapped out for whatever you really want. I just like the extra resistances to make me a little bit tankier. You could put in dragon resistance, thunder resistance. You could put in a spearbird's call. You could do another thing of absorber, maybe a quick reload. Actually, yeah, it increases reload speed to level 1. You could pretty much put whatever you want here. Whatever you want to do, whatever you have, whatever you think will give you the best odds of living and or doing damage and finishing the hunt just a little bit quicker. So that is all for this video. I hope this serves you well in all of your hunts. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, or night, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.